podcast 375 of 5-Star Potential, your weekly Football Manager podcast. I'm Doop, and on this week's pod, I am joined by Mr. Dave Azzopardi. How are you doing, buddy? You okay?
All good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Variations in our football team's results this week, but I'm sure we might talk about that later on. Anyway, this week we'll be catching up with our latest Football Manager saves and also discussing a number of FM saves and challenges you can start and get involved to keep you busy just before FM 25 drops next year, which is horrible to say. Just so you're aware, we spoke quite a lot last week about the delay of FM 25, so be sure to check out that episode if you want to hear our thoughts on the situation. We are going to be positive. Mm-hmm. First of all, Dave, any winners, any losers? You want to talk about VAR? Go into the screen and not do it. Just, we are recording this on Sunday. We were supposed to have Hood today and last week. We buggered him up last week. He's buggered us up this week. So we called it a score draw, and he'll be on next week.
Football's still a loser for me, unfortunately. Wolves rock bottom of the Premier League. Frustrating. I mean, we wouldn't have been bottom if we got a point today, but frustrating. Controversial late winner for City at the end of the game today. We've already spoke about it this afternoon, but I think probably right to reward the goal, but it's just the lack of consistency, as per usual, from Premier League and the officials. So, one of those. But yeah, thankfully, a lot more going on outside of Wolves at the moment, keeping me busy and happy, so can't complain too much.
What was her name?
Who?
Yeah, it's one of them, innit? Like, we spoke about it. It's shit because both our teams have had a goal exactly the same as that disallowed. And obviously, when the official goes to the screen, you assume some people in the crowd get a little bit, cocky because you think, it's going to be overturned, and then it didn't. So, winners and losers of the week. Do you know what? I'm going to class myself as a winner because for the first time ever, I'm going on holiday next week.
First time ever.
But in the winter, I've never been on holiday like whilst the clocks have gone back. So
Which one's this?
I go to Kenya.
I thought, you know what? I remember you mentioning this ages ago, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, I haven't talked about it much on stream at all. And to be fair, winner of the week as well is me again. A, because I'm going on holiday, but B, because that is now a month back scheduled streaming. Never missed a stream.
Bash. That's good from you, mate.
If you want to find me on Twitch, you can do over at twitch.tv/Doop. So this week we're going to be Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning. And then I'm going to have 10 days off because I'm on holiday. But then I will be back. And there's a new save. But before we get that far, should we talk about an old save? Which we haven't played much of. We have played quite a lot of, actually. I nearly started one with Joe, by the way.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah. I was slagging you off in stream, saying you're never about anymore because you're shagging all the time. Leave my mum out of this. I said to Joe, I need to start a proper one. But no, we are currently still doing the net. I'll let you take over because you are doing better than me. But I've had some interesting signings.
Yeah, I mean, we are currently, as of the time of recording, at the start of March. So we've played 29 Premier League games, so less than 10 to go. I mean, I said it last week, in terms of our form being immaculate, it's still pretty much the same. Like, we've been unbelievable. Since my loss against Doop, I've dropped points twice in the league, which I think I already spoke about last time. But since the turn of the year, it's been an immaculate run of form. So for 2.5 months, it's just been all wins. Started off the year on New Year's Day, 6-1 win over Brighton. We beat Villa 6-1 as well. But we've had some close shaves. We played Manchester City, beat them 2-1 with a late goal. But we're scoring so many goals. I think, dude, you mentioned it last week in terms of our goal difference is just phenomenal. We're beating teams. My most recent results, beating Villa again 3-0, beat Palace 4-1, beat Leicester 3-0, Southampton 3-0. So, in terms of, really good defensively, but scoring a lot of goals as well. Our end of the transfer window is interesting because I think at the start of on the last week's pod, we hadn't quite finished the transfer window, I don't think. So I had signed Victor Gyökeres. He came in, which has been a little bit all over the place, which I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, my January business was Orkun Koksu has come in from Benfica, backup centre mid pretty much because of the outgoing Basuma. Ivan Frenada from Sporting, £1.9 million. I really like him because young player, only 20, but already getting a lot of game time because Pedro Porro's out injured at the moment. Laporte is coming on a free, again backup centre back, although I am paying 275 grand for him, a lot more than what I want to pay a week. Gyökeres who's come in, and Sadio Mane on a free as well. That was I had him on trial for a short while. Again, I don't know if it's still a well-known thing, and if you have a player on trial for sort of 2, 3, 4 weeks, I don't know what it is in the game, but their wage demand seemed to be a hell of a lot lower. So I had him on trial throughout January, and then towards the end of the window, brought him in for just 50 grand a week. He's 32, been in phenomenal form for me, Mane, but it allowed me to loan out a few players, a couple of the lads, such as, trying to think of the name of him, the Odebear who did time for Burnley, allowed him to go out on loan and get some much needed game time. But yeah, doing well in terms of the Europa League. We're still in that. We got quite fortunate round of 16 draw. We played Panathinaikos. We beat them 3-0 away. We're still in the FA Cup. We play Hull in the quarter-final. So I know we joked about me having a lot of good luck in the last podcast, but it's still continuing, to be honest. But very quickly before I pass it over to Doop, Gyökeres, very eventful start for him in a Spurs shirt because he came in, scored on his debut. Then I think he got sent off against Manchester City. And then he came back for one game and has been injured ever since. So very, very crazy start for him right now. But Sadio Mane is doing the business for us. Scored twice against Villa. He scored an 83rd minute winner against Manchester City on his debut. He scored a hat-trick in the FA Cup against Sunderland. So he's doing quite well off that left wing. But with 9 games to go in the league, I've got a very healthy lead. But that's mainly because, obviously, I've been immaculate, but Doop side are dropping points here and there as well.
Yeah, to be fair, it's one of the, I'm just having a look at your schedule now. I'll be honest, we haven't played a huge amount latter part of the week. It's kind of all was early part of the week. And you've still got to play United, you've got to play myself, you've got to play Arsenal, you've got to play Liverpool, Newcastle away on the final day. So there's potentially 5 games that you could drop points in. You have got a 10-point lead, yeah, and you probably will go on to win the league. And what is I've got a little bit of a battle with Man City. Man City about 3 points behind me. But it's just your goals. Obviously when we played, I kind of tried to work out what you were playing and we nullified it and, we went on to win the game. So I was quite chuffed with that. But I think it's only really me that you've struggled to score against. Like everyone else has been 3, 3, 4, 6, 3, 3, 2, 4, 2, 6. When was the last time you only scored one? When you drew with Liverpool?
Yeah.
When was the last time you only scored one? And then against us, every other game of the season in the league, you have scored more than 1 goal.
Yeah, against, apart from Wolves as well.
Wolves, yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, I've done a bit of transfer business. Like if you are new to this save, we just picked 2 random teams that were kind of relatively. I think we did the season preview and they were relatively level. Yeah. It might be that we decide to go a different route after this season. It might be that we carry on. We only kind of went for a 1-season wonder, but that's obviously kind of materialized into something bigger now. So maybe potentially we'll carry this on, but we'll see. I hope we do because it's been quite fun. So I've kind of bought for the future and the now because we didn't know what we were doing. We had the first window closed. We couldn't do anything in the first window. As soon as the window opened, I had quite a lot of money, but I also sold a hell of a lot of players. So I'm just going to go through the list of the players I personally have got rid of, which was Dacho Fofana, Tosin. I have got rid of Nicholas Jackson, Reece James, and Cuckoo. I've got rid of... I swear I got rid of other players, but yeah, that's the main 5. All in all, that's 250 million I've got from them, or 200 million I've got from them. So I've bought some players in. We spoke about Messi and Barbosa. Barbosa on a free. Messi in. To be honest, he's played 9 games for me in the league. He's scored 3 goals, 2 assists. He's been all right. But, the shirt sales, that's what it's all about, right? We also brought Cabrera in, Calabria, the right back from Milan, because Reece James was leaving. I then realised that actually we don't have another right back when he left. So I needed to go look for a right back as well. Mark Gay we brought in as well for another centre back. I brought Rabiot in for a free. I don't think he's actually played. Oh, he's made 3 sub appearances for me. He's just somebody that we've got for 2 seasons that we can just have a bit of fun with. And then we talked about my Atalanta save on the last pod, and I was talking to you about how much I really enjoyed a pair of players in my team, which was the left back and the right back, Bellanova and Ruggery. And I said to you I needed a right back, so I went and bought Bellanova from Atalanta, 24 years of age. He was exquisite when he played for me at Atalanta. He's only played a couple of games for me in the Premier League, so not too much, because we aren't that far in. I think he actually might have got injured. I also picked up Ruggery as well, because left back Ben Chilwell's always injured, and I'm playing a back 3. And the only other option I've got is Levi Colwell. Like, at the moment, that's kind of who I'm looking at playing because of suspensions. We do have Cucurella as well, so one of those two will disappear. Cucurella or Chilwell, so I'm going to make that decision as well. So I bought my left back, my right back, both of them in quite happy. I went and then looked for Jonathan Tah. He was on a free in the summer. I brought him in. He is, again, a bit like what Dave explained. He's on quite a little bit of money, and I had to pay 10 million because I needed him. I think I had a couple of injuries, if I remember rightly, Dave, and it was like I could just buy him now for 10 million quid. Or I could wait till the end of the year. And I've had a lot of money. I still got 30 million in the bank to spend, and I haven't spent it, so we still got loads. And then I went and brought in a young striker called Luis Suarez, which is like so against me because I fucking hate the guy. Like, I genuinely hate the guy. But when you actually look at his attributes, he's got 18 finishing, 19 composure. His aggression's good, his strength's good, his bravery's good, his technique's still class. I mean, his acceleration and his pace are terrible, but his natural fitness is good. His work rate's pretty good, and he's going to be in and around that area that I feel that like he will get goals. And he scored 1 for me in 1 game. So I mean, at the moment, I'm happy with him. But it's just again another one. We're bringing a lot of change into the team and a lot of younger players. So I decided I needed to bring somebody a bit of a wise head. Another young player I brought in was Rooney Bargi from Copenhagen, but I have sent him back out on loan to Copenhagen. I just paid his release fee, which was 16.5 million. On our save, he's played 18 games. He scored 4 goals, 2 assists. So he's done all right, to be fair, the young lad. So I said I bought him ready for next season. But I was missing a big hole, David, at right mid. And I think I remember, I think we kind of got to the transfer deadline day, and I was like, I really want to. Can I just do the transfer? Can we take part? Because I've got an idea of someone I want to get in, and it just the money was taking the piss a bit, and I couldn't really work it out. Obviously we've kind of got quite a few wingers, and I've got rid of Nkuku as well. Well, I needed to kind of balance out my English as well, so I kind of went for a Crystal Palace legend, not Zaha. I went for not Eze. I went for Elise. Over at Bayern Munich, he started the season pretty badly over there. He'd only played a few games. They bought him for 50 million. I went and bought him for 60 plus a bit. And he's kind of
85 up to 100 actually.
I said I bought him for 60 plus a bit. That is technically what it did. But he's tanked. To be fair, he's been awful. But again, he's new. He's only young. He's only 23 years of age. So we've got some width and some youngsters there. My fixtures look relatively kind. I got to play Newcastle, yourself, and Man City. The rest of them look like they're winnable games, and hopefully I can put the pressure on you. I'm still in the Conference League. I've got Bobo Glint left to play, and like apart from Lyon and Ajax, are probably the only other teams that are really tough, and they are both 4-0 down in their first leg. Hearts beat Lyon 4-0. Which is, I know, mental, isn't it? And then Fenerbahce beat Ajax. If I speak, I'm in trouble. Jose
I've
Mourinho.
got Europa League night. I've still got Barca and Man U in it.
Wow,
I've
so
got
yours is
quite-
tough,
and
yeah.
Atalanta still in it as well.
And
so it's
Borussia
got a lot-
Dortmund, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams still in it. Well, Barca beating Dortmund, so one of those two will be out.
Okay, yeah, true.
I'm happy because of the players that I bought in. I've got some really good squad depth. So like even like to fight on all these, like Europa League, I'm 3 up against Panathinaikos, so I could theoretically do like full rotation for the second leg. Playing Hull, no disrespect to these teams, but my backup team, like my 4 strikers are Solanke, who's got nearly 30 goals this season, Gyökeres, Son, and Richarlison's hit quite a nice bit of form as well at the moment. So, like in terms of the team, I'm giving Archie Gray some chances in the midfield. Like in terms of the team at the moment, some really good quality in there. So, playing really good football. But like, I think I'm forcing a lot of errors from the opposition because play quite a high press system, but all of them have got really good work rate, and it's not really an attribute that I've taken much. Obviously, it's a nice attribute to have, but it's not anything that I've ever really prioritised before. But I think with how well these lot are playing, like I saw on Gyökeres without really looking at it, but his work rate is 19 anyway. So it's an attribute that I think I'm going to take notice of a little bit more now, to be honest.
You know what? It's looking at it now. Actually, I'm just in my medical center. I've had 48 I've had 48 injuries this season.
How do you see that?
So you go into medical center
Injury
history, it'll say injuries so far this season.
I've had 38 to be fair.
Okay, so I've had 48. I've had the most injuries in the Premier League.
Yeah, where am I in there?
Yeah. Ben Chilwell out for 94 days, 3 separate injuries. Gusto 82 days, 5 different injuries. João Felix, Madueke, Reece James, all these players have just keep getting injured. Yeah. But I've still got a lot of players to get rid of in the summer. Looking at it as well, so I'm hoping that if we do carry on, I'm gonna have some money to spend. I've got a lot of wanted as well. Lavia is wanted. Dewsbury Hall is wanted. Cole Palmer is wanted. Pedro Neto is wanted. Madueke is wanted. So, and Mudryk. So you never know. We might be able to get some more money to kind of spend. But yeah, I think it's Dave. Like I don't see and I'm not trying to put the pressure on you, but I don't see Dave not winning the league, which would be great for Tottenham. And then hopefully we can kind of maybe have one more season, see what we can do in the Champions League and. Because we've both done terribly in the cups, like in the FA Cup and the League Cup.
I'm still in the FA Cup, to be fair, but
How are you?
League Cup, I lost to Leeds. That was my first loss of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, still.
Oh, you got Hull, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can. We'll see where it goes. If not, maybe we just pick 2 more teams and start again. I don't know. Maybe approach it a little bit different, where we actually do transfers at the start, or we don't do any transfers. We ban ourselves.
One of the save up ideas that we talk
about
later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that very, very soon. Okay, that's cool. Penty, you got anything to kind of?
I've played a little bit, to be fair.
Have you done it yet, or what?
Nah, I'm playing so little of it, man. I need to just dedicate some time at home to just smash out a few hours because I'm having it on at work and then not really playing a lot. But I played it a little bit. I'm still, I think about 2 or 3 league games, some top of the league. I lost out I'm out of the Brazilian Cup because I alluded to a game where I got destroyed last week and I thought it was a Sao Paulo final, but it wasn't. It was the Brazilian Cup. So we lost that across 2 legs. We lost the Sao Paulo final anyway. So just full focus on the league. I think I've got 1 Copa Libertadores group game left. I've already qualified out of that, although River Plate have gone up top because they beat me at home. So yeah, it's all right, but I need to just get it done sooner rather than later because it's just a burden at the moment. Just want to get it done and finished.
So I had my coaching this morning with the team, and we had a bit of a difficult performance. And I kind of final quarter because we play in quarters. I said to him, "Look, I want to set you a challenge. Okay, I want you all to have a moment in the game or in this quarter that you can go away and you can tell your friends at school tomorrow. Whilst I'm away, Dave, I want you to have a moment and I want you to win that Champions League for me. I want to
that's nice.
I want to come back and I want to hear you tell me just how amazing it was. Because I was sat at home today after the Wolves game and I was looking at my phone and I was going, Dave still owes me a tweet and I've got a really good tweet in mind. And
what was it going to be?
Were
you still saving it?
I might, because I might drop. It's not just for like this week, this game week relevant. It's about Wolves. It'll be relevant later, but I just think potentially we'll wait for that. And I think the only way you could stop me from tweeting is if you win it sooner rather than later.
Okay.
All right. I think that's like a little promise there. If you can do it, you can show me that you can do it. Then maybe I'll be a bit nice for you. Okay, I've started a new save. We're going to talk about some other save updates, so save ideas shortly. But I've actually taken a leaf out of my own book, and I've made a decision with the help of chat. And then Joe makes it a little bit harder because that's what he did in the chat. We kind of decided what we were going to do, and then he's gone, let's make it a little bit harder. So I decided to do a youth challenge. I decided to attempt to like basically not make any signings and just use my team, my backroom staff to kind of generate players and develop players. And then I went, actually, no, I don't like that idea. Let's go to Spain, Bilbao, and we'll do a Basque only save. Yeah, brilliant. That's what we're gonna do. Load up the stream, kind of hint that that's what we're gonna do. Friday Night FM comes into chat and he's like, well, if you're gonna do a Basque save, everyone does Bilbao. Why not pick one of the other Basque teams? So what do you mean? I'll be honest. What do you mean? I didn't really know there was many other teams, and Sociedad's one, and Alaves is one, and I think there's another one as well. And I was like, okay, we'll have a look. We went through. We kind of had a little look through. And we just decided to go for a Deportivo Alaves save, Basque only. So we'll be able to bring players in by using our youth intake and stuff, but also we'll be able to purchase some Basque only players as well. But we'd only be youngsters that we can kind of poach from other academies. We wouldn't be trying to, spend 60 million on Inaki Williams, that sort of thing. So, or Nico Williams is probably the more expensive one right now. So, we started the season. We did a massive pre-season. We had it was good. We had a good fun in chat talking about things. We played Malaga, which is an old Spanish team that I've managed before. In the pre-season, we played Sociedad. We drew 2-2. Having a good look at the squad, and we were like, right, we're going to play a diamond, old school diamond that we used to play. Apparently, narrow play is not very good, so we're going to try our best to see what we can do with narrow play, right? See what we can achieve where it's like it's not the meta. A meta is it's such an OP tactics that we can use. We're going to go ahead and do the complete opposite to that. So we've gone narrow. We've got Tony Martinez, ex-Famalicão, ex-West Ham. I mean, this is Joe, ex-Valencia. This is Joe's perfect dream. Used to be at Porto. Yeah. Good player. Not on the youngest of age. He's 27 and obviously not Basque, but he's a good player. His contract has got 4 years left on his contract. Unless somebody comes in for him, we'll keep playing him until his contract runs out, and then we will have to not renew. We've also got a left back called Manu Sanchez, who again is Spanish. He is on loan from Celta Vigo. He's been dropping like averaging 7.5 every game, and the fans are like, we got to renew his contract. Like, we got to make him permanent. I'm like, we can't. He's not Basque, and obviously we can't like nail it down like they do at Bilbao because it's not something that you have to do here. So we've kind of been playing around. First game of the season, we went and played Vallecano. We beat them 3-1, and I'm thinking, here we go. Like this could be this save could be over before it's even started, sort of thing. Smashing teams. We then lost to Las Palmas away from home. Fabio Silva scored the second. We then scored in the second half, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And at the time, again, we were still sticking with the diamond. We then played Real Betis. We drew 1-1 to them, and again, it was very frustrating. There was a lot of like tweaking, and we're still trying to kind of see what we can do with the tactic and stuff. And we're trying to be a bit adventurous and see what we could do. Then we played Betis. Then we played Atletico Madrid and got absolutely pummeled 4-0. And it was like a proper 4-0 game. We did really well in the first half, and then they kind of went and battered us. We followed it up with 2 draws, more draws than IKEA, which is an old pod title. Go check it out. We drew 0-0 with Real Sociedad. My striker came off the bench. No, he missed a penalty. We had an XG of 2.37 to Sociedad's 0.13. We missed a penalty, and we lost the game. We lost points, which was a nightmare. We also played Girona. Again, a player missed a penalty in this game. We battered them. 1.93 average XG. We had 38% possession. We missed a penalty in the 51st minute, and I was like livid, absolutely livid. In the 93rd minute, I had a bit of Dave as a party luck. The ball come over. The goalkeeper went to pick it up and just scoop it up as it kind of bounced through. Kind of went through his arms, through his legs, and then my striker ran on and scored, which was just mental. And then we played Espanyol. You'll never get what the result was here, Dave. We drew 1-1, Dave. And at this stage, we're tweaking. We're playing a 4-3-3. We're playing a 4-2-3-1. And we kind of went away off stream, and I kind of sat there and I was just staring at the screen. And we played every minute on stream, and we've not played a single bit off. And I was staring at it, and I'm going, why is this not clicking? We've not got the ball, and that's fine. We've designed the system not to have the ball, very similar to what we had at Atalanta. We have pace, we have quality. The plan is to let them have the ball, and we'll just hit them on the counter attack, and we'll get the ball, up the pitch as quick as we can. Short pass and high tempo, kind of get it through the transition, get it through the play. Still playing on 2D, by the way, which I've had a few people mention, like, "No, bro, you do know they got 3D?" Oh, fucking do they? Really? Wow. So anyway, we come back on stream.
Years of had 3D. Yeah.
We come back off stream. We come back on stream the next day, and we have to start against Villarreal, which is a tough team, away at Villarreal. And I just said, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna play 4-4-2 diamond, narrow. We're gonna give it a good shot. We tweaked a few things with the centre backs, the wing backs, down to fullback supports. We kind of tweaked our midfield a little bit, and I said, this is what we're gonna go for, and we're just gonna stick with it now for 10 games and just see where it gets us. We beat Villarreal 4-0. Like the most comprehensive result I've ever seen for us. Fantastic. Well chuffed. We then had like an international break, and we only had 2 players of our squad go off to international. And then I just chucked in 2 friendlies just to get the morale boosting, because we had to go play Barcelona. We like I said, kept the formation. We're still sticking with that, but we were just we worked so hard against Barcelona. And at halftime, 0-0. We didn't have much of the ball. We didn't create many chances, but neither did Barcelona, and I was happy with that. Lewandowski scored in the 64th minute with just like a speculative chance. Like it wasn't really a chance, but it was a chance, if that makes sense. And then they won 1-0, and it was just like, I was a bit gutted, I'm not gonna lie, because I thought we could have won that game. We then went and beat Mallorca 1-0. We lost to Valladolid. We dropped points to Valladolid. We got a player sent off in the 67th minute, and then they scored instantly after that to make it 2-1. And I'm thinking, for fuck's sake. And like normally when you get a player sent off, you just go, right, we're going to try and conserve. I went 3 up top. I literally just went 3 up top, dropped the DM, put 3 up top, played like a defensive 3 centre backs, which happened to be one of my strikers because I thought I took him off, but actually I didn't. I put him as a centre back, and we just pushed everyone forward, and we got a goal in the 88th minute from a penalty, and we come away with 2 points, which is fantastic. We went and beat Seville 1-0, and then we got battered by Real Madrid. So it's really up and down. We finished the stream this morning. Honestly, probably the most frustrating game I've ever seen in my life, Dave. We played Atletico Bilbao. So it's the Basque Derby, right? So it's the last game of the stream this morning. We have an XG of 3.25. They have an XG of 1.29. They had a penalty in the 91st minute to draw the game. We missed a penalty in the 79th minute. We miss penalties like they're going out of fashion. One stage, we had a penalty earlier in the season. I then brought on a player to take that penalty, brought on the player and manually selected him to be the penalty taker, and it still didn't let him take the penalty, and the other guy missed. So I was not happy about that. But yeah, we're sat 11th in the league. we've been, we're 15 games in, we've been flying. The issue we've got is we just don't score enough goals, and we don't have the squad depth. I've only got one left back. I've only really got one goalkeeper. I don't really have an attack midfielder. I'm playing a few people that would kind of play centre mid attack rather than attack midfield. So it's a tough save. At the moment, it's pretty easy because it's kind of our limiting factors are not in play yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because all we can do is just play with the squad that we've got. But yeah, I'm really kind of interested. It's going to be really cool in January because I did say that we couldn't have any transfers in the summer. So in January that window opens, so that should be good.
What's the play? Have you looked yet? What's the player pool like? Are there good players on there for you? Or?
There are some, but I'll be honest with you. One thing that I really focused on, especially this stream just gone, I said, you know what, we haven't really done enough diving into the facilities and stuff. So the facilities aren't great. We need to work on that, and we know that, so that's fine. So we've got like good training facilities, great youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, and above average youth recruitment. So not fantastic. So I thought, what could we do to help that? So I brought in a chap called Jose Botto, who looks like he's traveled the world in 80 days. Like his scouting knowledge is just mental. Yeah. He's got 19 adaptability, 17 ability, judging player ability, potential was 16, negotiating 16, staff ability. So I just brought him in as a director of football and just have him as the overlord. He looks like Greg Wallace, not Greg Wallace, Paul Hollywood. He looks like Paul Hollywood. They're about the same sort. They look pretty similar, to be fair. And then I brought in Steve Weaver, who you should know who Steve Weaver is, Dave. Yeah?
Rings a bell.
Yeah. He used to be coach back in 2008 at Wolves. I'm shocked you don't know that, to be fair. As my head of youth development, he spent some time at Norwich. We got him away from Norwich. I'm sure he's very grateful for that.
Steve Weaver?
Weaver, yeah.
Weaver.
From 2008 to 2014, he was a first-team coach.
At Wolves. I know the name.
And he's got 18 ability, 18 potential, and 20 working with youngsters. So he should be very good. So we've kind of worked on that, as they won't let me upgrade any of the facilities because we've only just turned up, right? But I'll be honest, looking at the player pool, there are players, and I kind of want to set myself kind of 22, 20, 21, 22 is like the maximum. Everything should be under that. The issue is like you get all these recommendations for people to buy, and they're like Argentinian, Colombian, and you're just like, and I got a chap that's Andorran, which actually is Basque. To be fair, he's Basque as well, but it's not easy. Like to try and when you set your recruitment focuses, you can kind of say, right, this time I want you to look for an attack midfielder, full transfer, 3-star rating, kind of 15 to 17 or 15 to 20, let's say. Which area do you want to go? Okay, well, we know Spain really well, so let's go to Spain and let's go to like the region of Basque. Oh, that's not a thing. So you can't kind of search that area. You can't then go, actually, okay, fine, let's search Spain, and then I want his second nationality to be Basque, and it won't let you. You can't search it. You can't search it. You can't search it. So what you can do, you could in a player. So you can't set it as a player recruitment. I can set somebody's their second nationality up as Basque as a player filter, and I can go through and find them like that. But it's still very limiting. But then I'm hoping that we need to kind of find players that are playing at non-Basque ruled teams. So like, so like the Bilbao players, right? They've got some good players and they've got some really good youngsters. So they've got a really good looking centre midfielder. I don't know what his attributes are, but he's fit. But like he's already valued. Like they just won't let me talk. Like they will not let me talk to him, and he's not played a single first team game for him. But because he's got that Basque country on him, he just it's so difficult to kind of tickle him away. So it should be tricky, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure we'll be fine.
For people listening, who are the top Basque players? Do you know off the top of my head? Like in world football at the moment. I'm not saying players that are necessarily sort of realistic for you right at this stage, but
well, I guess I mean the anyone at
The Bilbao.
Atletico Bilbao. So I would say like you've got Simon, goalkeeper. Yeah, he's probably one of the better
Am I being
ones.
daft or is Griezmann Basque?
I think
Or
you're
am I being
being daft.
stupid?
Yeah, I think you
Why
might be.
why do I think he's Basque?
So you've
So
got
should I just think I don't
yeah
know why I've
maybe
heard that.
you got Villa Libra who's my striker. He's only 20. He's only 26, I think. So he's quite good. Alves. You've got or Alaves, I should say. Orzabal. Orzabal. I can't say his name for saving my life. He's pretty cool. You obviously got the Williams brothers. So Nico, is Basque. Yeah, it's quite limiting. I've got a chap called Guevara, a DM, and who's quite promising. But everyone that's kind of with me is older. I don't have like young players, which is probably going to be quite difficult. Mikel Moreno is Basque, and a Herrera obviously, but he's kind of knocking on the coffin door at the moment.
See,
So
okay, so Griezmann,
yeah,
it's weird because he's not like in terms of blood or nation, he's not Basque. But Bilbao's rules have they'll only sign players who are born in the Basque country, or have learned their football skills at a Basque club. And
to be fair, Griezmann does say he's Basque country
yeah, because
on
I
Football
think
Manager.
it's because he was
Sociedad.
Sociedad. Yeah. See, that's what I knew. I don't know why I had a weird feeling. I knew somewhere.
Yeah,
That he
that's
was,
strange. No,
yeah.
that's a good spot.
So it depends for you there. I don't know if that might help you long term if
Yeah.
you're going into the exact same rules as Bilbao. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
like
probably almost like a homegrown thing, isn't it?
it is. It's. I'll be. Again, we will send our love to Mad and his apologies for him not being here. But it's a Mad region air save, isn't it? I'm going to go out and buy players, but I'm going to try and buy the youngsters and bring them in and start kind of getting them into our infrastructure, getting them through the door, and then hopefully looking to merge them into the players that we want. But yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting save. If it's something that kind of tickles your fancy, there are lots of different clubs that you can go for, obviously ranging in difficulty. So Bilbao are probably the easier one, which is mental, mainly because that is their rule. So with your youth intake, you're only going to get Basque players. Unfortunately, with my youth intake, I'm not. Again, I kind of could do with my head of youth being from Basque. That will probably help. Sociedad, we mentioned as well. They're good. They've got some really good players, some good sides. You've got Ilbar as well. There's loads. If you just go and Google it, there's a big list on Wikipedia, and you can kind of have a good little look because it is pretty cool. And obviously you've got it. Like I said, it's not. When I say, I just want to kind of clarify. When I say Bilbao's easiest, it's not easy, and the whole thing's not easy. But it's easier because kind of the infrastructure's there for you, whereas I'm making the infrastructure, and kind of people are like going, "Oh, you should sign him." Well, I can't, because I can't. Just a quick one, as you mentioned, Higuain is of Basque heritage, but he's not eligible to play for Atletico Bilbao, which is mental.
What, he's not.
He's not. No, because he didn't. He does. He's Basque heritage, but he doesn't fall under that. Didn't learn his trade at a Basque club, which is crazy.
Oh.
Anyway, let's jump into our main discussion for the pod today, and we'll kind of touch upon this again, really, which is save ideas. Of course, some of you may have been hoping / thinking that FM25 was just around the corner. And you were at the end of your FM24 journey. But unfortunately, we do have a little bit more time to go. So don't panic. Dave and I have put together a very small list to hopefully give you guys some inspiration over the next few months of games and saves that you can play and keep your interest. So Dave, back to back. We'll quick fire this so we can keep our 40-minute pod because I've just seen the time. Shit, sorry. What's your first idea?
I think obviously updated database. I think Ipswich is a good one. Updated database. There's loads out there at the moment. Obviously, there's no sort of indication that FM are going to bring out an official one. So FM Scout sort it out aside. But Ipswich Town, I think this will be an interesting one because obviously in the Premier League, very tough task because I think in terms of quality of players, you're going to have to, update the squad. Maybe a little bit of a rebuild, or you could do similar to what me and Doop did, and maybe keep it quite realistic and disable the first window and sort of see how you can do till January. To be fair, Doop, in our network save, we've obviously got the updated database and transfers, and they're not bottom of the league. That with 10 games to go, I think Wolves are rock bottom, and Ipswich are actually doing okay. So, I think that's an easy one. I think a lot of people may have been thinking that for FM25 anyway, but for me, Ipswich is an interesting one if we're going for a specific club challenge.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to put forward a save idea that I came up with and I actually completed on stream, which is the GOAT challenge. So basically, it's like Dave's Penty that he done, but it's a little bit on steroids. So you need to start unemployed, load in a load of database, load of leagues. You need to go and win the Pentagon challenge. So you need to win a Champions League on every single continent that's playable. You need to then, once you finish that, you need to then get yourselves to the top of the Hall of Fame and become the greatest football manager ever lived.
I mean, to add to that, the Pentagon challenge, if you don't really quite want to do the GOAT challenge that do say, Pentagon challenge for people, interested, it will be tight, but I think you may still have time. If you play FM a lot, very straightforward, similar to what Doop's just said. You start unemployed, you start with no coaching badges, no previous experience, and you just go from there. I went with it with a vanilla database. If your PC can't quite handle it, you can just delete leagues as and when you've sort of completed that continent. But yeah, it is something different, quite fun to get into.
I basically, when I did mine, I basically mapped it out before. So I was I'm going to start in Asia and then go to South Africa. So if I'm going to do that, I'll have the Asian leagues and South Africa. And as soon as I complete one of those two, those leagues come off and I put the next one up. And that's how I kind of worked around it.
I have them all loaded up, to be fair. I haven't deleted them this time, but like the save file is probably huge, to be fair. But I normally start in South Africa, then to Asia, and then. But Asia's difficult this year because of obviously Saudi Arabia and the amount of money. But if you wanted to download, additional leagues, that's obviously an option as well. And Saudi Arabia is probably one of the better leagues to download. Sleeping Giant, dude, but I caught this on your Twitter thread, which was very good about potential save updates. And I mean, Sleeping Giant, there's so many good teams. I mean, some of the ones that you mentioned, Deportivo La Coruña, who are in the second division of Spain right now, Hamburg, who are in the second division of Germany. Bundesliga, the Schweiz Bundesliga is always a good one because there's so many good teams in the second or third division of Germany. 1860 Munich, who's a good one as a capital city challenge maybe.
And it's quite good. It's good with the speed because the money you get in Germany. The money you get in Germany does wrap up it helps you speed the save up because you can spend money.
I don't know in terms of because you don't get a lot from TV money though, do you?
Nah, but the competition money, like if you do well in there, you are kind of in a good position.
Yeah, and I think in terms of transfer fees, but Germany, to be fair, I haven't really considered it, but when I was doing this list, Germany is one that I actually really, really enjoyed previously. So you got Hamburg, but like I said, you got St. Pauli, you got 1860 Munich, you got Saint Etienne, who are currently back in the top division of France. They won so many titles in the top division of France throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Had some great players over the years, so that's one. Obviously, see if you can dethrone PSG. Parma back in the top division of Italy, but so historic. And I've put down Sampdoria as well because they were sort of a constant in Serie A for a long, long time and down in Serie B and didn't come back up last year as well. So lots of different challenges. But Sleeping Giant, I think that's quite a straightforward one for people. Everyone's got their own sort of definition of what a Sleeping Giant is, but loads out there. And I think if you Google it, there'll be loads of teams that come up as well.
Something that's quite good with them is just set yourself a challenge with them, like a mini challenge. So like you've got some of them, Deportivo La Coruña, Hamburg, and Sampdoria, maybe the idea was just to get them back to the big time, get them back into the top division, get them back to a European competition where we've seen, I remember Deportivo La Coruña beating Man United, at home in the Champions League. So like that sort of thing, getting them back to there, rather than just going, oh yeah, we're going to try and smash everyone and do this. It might be nice to kind of build that narrative around it. which is pretty
I
cool.
literally, I've just found it. So I literally had a list that has been on my phone since 2020 of save ideas, and I've genuinely never looked at it till now. But it's basically, I haven't put this on our notes, dude, but this is basically a capital city challenge. So it's much lower league teams that are basically in the capital city with a bigger side. So 1860 Munich, who I've obviously mentioned, city rivals with Bayern. You got Rayo Vallecano, who I think you mentioned earlier on, who are city rivals with Real and Atletico Madrid. You got Paris FC, who are another good challenge.
Red Star.
PSG.
Red Star as well.
FC Eindhoven, who are in lower leagues of Holland, I think, or Netherlands, sorry, with PSV. Excelsior, who are in lower divisions, who are rivals with PSV, with Feyenoord, sorry. Istanbul Spor, city rivals with Besiktas, Fenerbahce and Galatasaray. Dukla Prague, city rivals with Sparta and Slavia Prague. Edinburgh City, dude, I think you did it with them previously.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Edinburgh City with Hearts and Hibs, and Abio Leffe, who are near to AC and Inter Milan as well. So if you fancy that sort of trying to topple your city rivals, loads of little challenges there as well.
Awesome. Yeah, good idea. Referencing my save earlier as well, the Academy Project, Youth Academy Challenge. Basically, there's some simple ones, Bilbao being one, but Sporting I mentioned Southampton. There is actually a link on Sort It Out SI, which, if I remember, I'll tell as a party it. And you can actually, I mean, people can say it's cheating if they want, but it's a big database, and it basically tells you all of the best youth facilities in FM24, and you can kind of you can find the better ones, and maybe it makes it a little bit more exciting for you. So, for example, it mentions Independe de Valle over in Colombia is like one of the best youth development centres. They've got exceptional.
That'd be a really interesting save, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I've never done it. I've literally just read it off the top of the list. They've got exceptional youth recruitment. They've got superb new gens. And they've got I don't actually know what that says on the last bit. It won't let me scroll across, but there's some. I just can't do computers, man. They got So they're talking about like where they've kind of hit their maximum, which is about it's given a random number. But
I put a side note on this, and I can't remember if I mentioned it on the pod before, but there's one that I've not seen anyone do for a while because it is quite a long-winded save. But a youth academy challenge where normally this works best if you have like a tier 10 database or you like really in sort of the lower leagues. And you do have to use the editor for it, to be fair. But you get like, say, a tier 10 side, you find the village or the team closest to you or whatever. You give them in the editor maximum youth recruitment, youth facilities, training facilities, so 20 for the best. But basically you can't sign anybody. So you're down in like tier 10, but every year you're churning out some. They're not going to be unbelievable because you've got 20 youth facilities. They're very good for your level. And basically you rise up the leagues, but because they're all on amateur contracts, a lot of them are going to get poached over time or whatever. And that's quite a good save. The first few years are quite easy, but when you get to non-league, it gets a little bit difficult. But that's quite a fun save as well.
I actually had an idea for a network save, a long-term network save for this, where you pick up two teams in Vanuatu National, and you go into the editor. One of them has like a sugar daddy owner that you get loads of fucking money. The other one has maximum facilities, and it's just like it's kind of like fire and ice sort of thing. Like one, you just spend as much money as you want, which would probably be kind of, if we were to do it, that would be good for you because all I ever do is spend fucking money. And then like for me, I would have just like a random team, but just have maximum facilities everywhere, and we kind of, you can't sign anyone, but it would just be really kind of interesting to see how well it progresses together. And actually, it might be that you go off on a quick one and then boom, I kind of catch up. But that would be quite cool.
Either that or both with the top facilities would be a really intriguing one because like Football Manager, and it's funny because we'll talk about one of the ideas in a second. A lot of it is about transfers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I actually kind of even enjoyed our network, how we jumped 6 months before we were able to do it. I had to work with what you've got, but that youth facility one is good because there's nothing better than getting a good new gen, is it?
But
like,
no, blowjobs, Dave, probably. To be fair, but but to be fair, right? I'll be honest with you. It would be really interesting because we wouldn't fuck about with your reputation. You'd pick two very level teams, and I'd still get good players through the new gens. But you can't. going to get a Messi. You can't, it's going to take a while for you to build that reputation up. Whereas my players won't get affected by the reputation.
I'm intrigued by that. That should be quite good, actually.
Well, maybe that might be another one soon.
Yeah.
Go on, next one. We got a couple more.
I was gonna say. I mean, in terms of we spoke about Portugal quite a lot throughout this edition of the game. We've already mentioned them a couple of times. There's one club that intrigues me. It's called Estrela de Amadora. So they're actually in the top division of Portugal now. They're only 4 years old though. They were only founded in 2020. However, they were one of the oldest teams in Portugal before, and they basically had to file for bankruptcy back in 2011 and were no more. They hadn't really won any major titles in terms of league titles, but won the Taça de Portugal, which is like the FA Cup in Portugal. But they're back now and sort of back in the top division of Portugal. So an interesting save, quite a young team, although it's got long term a lot of history. But with the way that Joe was talking about Family Cow and having quite a smaller team trying to compete with the big boys, I think this is quite a slightly different challenge with Australia because and the name of a beer as well, I suppose, for anyone interested.
Maybe that could be another network save, is that you have to have different types of beer on, like you could have Australia and I don't know, I'm trying to figure out another one. Is there a team called Perone? Yeah, maybe. Corona. Maybe. Awesome. My last one would be, as you mentioned earlier, kind of thought of I didn't think of the idea, but I stole it, of Director's Cut. So as a content creator, I got to give the link to Clates, because Clates kind of does his YouTube videos. So I wasn't here. I wasn't invited. No, I was. I think I was. Sorry, I don't know what happened. So basically, what it is you get a assistant manager that you are classing as the manager. You delegate everything match day to him, the shouts, everything you can to him. And then you basically focus on your scouting, the transfers, and the squad building. It might be kind of quite a nice way to get through a few seasons quite quickly and just you building the team to how you want it. Actually really like this idea, and I think it would be a really cool stream thing to do, because it could just be quite chill, having a chat. You could be watching other things and chatting to other people whilst you kind of do it. But big shout out to Clates. I know I've definitely seen him do it, and I've seen other people create some content on that sort of save idea. So yeah, go show them some love.
100%. Loved it. Even if you want inspiration, like the Clates YouTube series, if you just flick through a few episodes of that to sort of get the premise of it, it's a really good watch as well, to be fair. But it's quite fun. If you enjoyed the more sort of recruitment and transfer side of Football Manager, it's always a fun one. You can fly through seasons.
I was going to say you could, again, that could be quite a cool little network as well, because you just got to rely on your assistant manager to kind of, I did
one. Sorry, dude. I did one years ago, and I wouldn't. You could probably still do it. Is when Sir Alex Ferguson's still in the database, isn't he? I set him as controlling the transfers at Manchester United.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You just obviously, you're managing the team still, but Sir Alex will control the transfers, which is quite a good one as well. That's sort of a flip side. It doesn't have to be Sir Alex, but at any club, just let your director of football could take control of the transfers and see what happens. Yeah,
because you can literally get them to do like opposition instructions, team, everything. You can get them just to do it all. So, yeah, that'd be really cool. As you mentioned him, just a quick one on the fly. The Sir Alex Ferguson challenge is always a good one. And I actually quite like the premise of doing that sort of save. So that's where you sim to the 5th of November, because that's whatever it is, when he took over when Man United were 18th, and you just pick the 18th club in the Premier League, or just sim for 6 months. Go into it with a brand new manager with some badges and just see what comes from it and see who offers you jobs and stuff. I did a really good save back in like 2017, where we were unemployed and we just kind of went for 6 months, and then Leon offered us a job, and we went to a really nice run with Leon, and it kind of might make you go at places that you've not been before, if you know what I mean. So that could be quite interesting, to be fair. Any more as a party?
Well, maybe a bit of spoiler. I think we're going to try a challenge closer to Christmas, which is a tap-in bottom at Christmas challenge.
Yeah.
Basically, update database or normal database, holiday to Christmas Day. See who's bottom of your chosen league. Take over them and see if you can keep them up. Nice and easy.
Yeah, you never know.
Do as a challenge, as a panel, see who comes out on top, and see what tactics we use, see what transfers we make and stuff like that. It'd be quite cool as well. We've not really done that on the pod before, so.
No, and I think we spoke to the boys over at Tony Jameson, didn't we? We said maybe
That could be
we'll
a challenge
come.
that
Yeah,
the gauntlet that we throw out.
we send them a challenge and they send us a challenge and we see what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think, personally, that does bring episode 375 to a close. You can find the links to each of us in the podcast description or by visiting 5starpotential.com, where you can find all of our latest Football Manager content. 5-Star Potential is available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and most of our popular podcast apps and platforms with a brand new podcast every single week. Thank you all for listening. There'll be more from us next week. Plus, fingers crossed, good as well. Until next time, say goodbye as a party.
Goodbye as a party.
Goodbye. Okay, let's go.